Hey guys, Island Homesteader here. Just want to get a quick video out. May look like a bee video, but it really isn't. In a way, I guess it is. It's kind of a rant, although it isn't really, because I waited a week or so after what I'm going to talk about happened, so that I didn't rant. But anyway, just real quick. Most of you know I live out here on coastal North Carolina, and a couple weeks ago we had a lot of rain over a period of about a week and a half. You know, we had 15, 16 inches of rain. And as you can imagine, we already have mosquitoes out here. It's already a problem. And when we get rain like that, they were really bad here. They still are, but not near as bad as they had been. But anyway, just to make this thing as quick as I can, on the 13th, I got a phone call from a guy that works for the county in the mosquito spraying program, the mosquito control program. They have a regular spray program. I talked to him this spring. I got him to put me on what they call their no spray list, so that when they come by at night, they don't spray in front of my house with the spray truck. But anyway, so on the 13th, I got a phone call from a guy that works for him to let me know that one of my neighbors had called to tell them that both of my beehives had died when we had what she claimed to be the hurricane, although we never had a hurricane, we just had rain. But she called to let them know that my hives died in a hurricane, and that because of that it was okay to go ahead and spray the neighborhood. Apparently there's been a misconception all summer long by several people in the neighborhood that the mosquito people haven't been spraying our neighborhood because of me and my bees. And I guess this lady was just tired of being inconvenienced by a mosquito or two in her yard, and decided to just let the county know that my bees were dead and that they could come and just spray willy-nilly. But the funny thing is, when I called the guy back and got a chance to finally talk to him, he was actually relieved to hear that my bees hadn't died. He said that him and his boss, the guy in charge of the program, were actually concerned that my bees may have died, because they actually end up being bee fans. So I thought that was pretty cool. But I just couldn't believe that somebody that, you know, is a neighbor, and that's not somebody I've really met. The person lives across the canal from me, and I've never talked to her. We've waved across the canal, stuff like that. But that she thought it would be okay to go ahead and lie and say that my bees had died so that we could get the neighborhood sprayed. So anyway, I got that taken care of. I ranted a little bit about it on my personal Facebook page, and that very same night I got a private message from somebody that I'm trying to get started into bees next year, saying we probably ought to talk. So I got a hold of her the next day, and she said about a week before that there was an incident at the beauty parlor that she overheard, and she said, I probably should have told you about it earlier because I thought it was going to come to a head. And she thought it was what I was talking about on Facebook, but it was a completely different person. It was a person who lives across the street from me, who a week or so after she was in the beauty parlor was having a big block party, and she was telling the person doing her hair, the shop owner, that she was just really concerned about my bees and this block party, and that my bees were going to be over there bugging everybody at the party, and it was just going to be a problem. Although I doubt she hardly ever sees my bees in her yard. I don't know. But she was saying how it was just really a big problem, and she just went on to go on and say how she couldn't believe that I had put the bees in the neighborhood, and let this airplane go by. She went on to say that she just couldn't believe that I had put these beehives in the neighborhood, you know, that they really enjoyed having me as a neighbor, but it just didn't make sense that I would put beehives in the neighborhood because it's a residential area, she said. You know, I mean, as you can see, it's very densely populated. You know, we're right on top of each other, and obviously, you know, my bees are just creating such a nuisance that she thought that it was something she needed to address. Come to find out, the funny thing is that the girl doing her hair, her husband has several bees hives in their yard, so she kind of set her straight on some things. So I thought that was kind of funny. But it just, you know, it's just silly to me that a couple of beehives have created so much drama. People have been talking all summer about them, you know, in the neighborhood not being sprayed, and then this lady calling the county and lying, and the other lady complaining that they're going to be all over her people at our block party. And I'm sure nobody in here has had a problem this summer, because I'm sure if even one person in this entire subdivision had been stung this summer, I would have heard about it and been blamed for it, I'm sure. So anyway, just thought I'd get that off my chest a little bit and throw that out there in case anybody else has had any problems like that. And or just a heads up that, you know, you may have problems like that if you're planning on doing bees. So anyway, all right, thanks for watching.